All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another week of SEO Unmasked. Today is August 2nd, 2018, episode number 43, I believe. Glad to have you with us as always. I'm Garrett Groff.
Steve Brownlee.
John Wright.
Yeah, we got special guests in the house. John, happy to have you with us. For 2 weeks in a
Thank
row,
you.
we actually have a guest, so it's nice. Kind of get back in the swing of things after a while, but floor is yours for a couple minutes, or however you'd like to talk about yourself.
You mean self-promotion? Shamelessly?
If you want, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Maximum self-promotion. Yeah.
I won't go too far into that, but it's been in internet marketing for quite some time, at least 10 years. Been focusing more on the online gambling space. I'm getting a little bit involved in the cryptocurrency space, but now I'm starting to pivot more on the B2B space, focusing on webmaster software. So I've got an app that I'm planning on launching very soon, which is it's to help webmasters collect all their stats into a single application, so you don't have to log into, let's say if you had 50 affiliate programs, it'll just collect all your data in one spot, and every day you'll always be able to see how you're doing.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. So people call you Mr. Gambling instead of me, who still gets called Mr. Viagra because of my past. I'm too young. I'm too young, guys.
What do you mean?
Oh, thanks for backing me up, Garrett.
I don't know what the fuck you mean.
Well, you don't need a 20-pack of Viagra at fucking 29 like me.
Oh. Well, you never know. Life you've lived.
That's true. That's true.
Shit. Yeah. All right. You're speaking in Leeds, right? Coming up.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. I've written half of it now, so you're half as likely that I turn up and actually deliver the presentation than you were last time we announced it. We're going to be talking about link building and boring niches, which is if you imagine if you run a link building agency, people that have their own link building team at their agency, they don't give you the campaigns that they're finding easy in-house. They give you the shit that's really boring. But we actually find that really easy because we come up with the ideas, we guide them on the content, and I'm going to give you some of that information. So I don't know if it's going to be live. I haven't heard back, but I will just follow that up and we'll let you guys know next week if there's going to be a YouTube version or not. But yeah, if you're in the UK, come along to Leeds. I will tell you things that none of the shitty... it's the last... I think it's the last Thursday in August or something. Let me just... Well, you've put the link in the description. Click the link. The link is has a better memory than me.
And then we'll be in Dublin in September. I'll be there the 12th through the 17th of September, I believe.
Yeah. That's for inbound. Are you coming to learn inbound?
Myself?
Yes.
Nope. What I've got on my schedule is Lisbon, like 2 gambling affiliate conferences, one in Lisbon in October, one in Malta end of November. There's a cryptocurrency conference in Malta, Malta Blockchain Summit, which I might go to, and then I've pretty much marking on my calendar Affiliate World in Bangkok in December.
Cool.
So
if you guys are deciding which one to go to, the November Malta gambling one would be my choice. The weather has just gone shit in Europe. It's still going to be like 16, 17 degrees in Malta. Malta's awesome. And no one knows how to play poker there. So as long as you stay away from the other people at the gambling conference and get a taxi a little bit further away, you'll have some nice, easy games. I'm not joking. I'm talking... You don't have to have watched any Doug Polk videos to beat these fuckers. So we were talking serious dribbling on the table, fucking moron shit. So Malta... November is your pick if you want to go to a gambling conference. Otherwise, come join us at Learn Inbound if you want some mainstream, dorky, fucking how you promote a lawyer or something type conference.
Useless, but have you been to Affiliate World conferences before?
Myself, no.
Okay.
I've been looking at the one in Barcelona, and
oh yeah, we've been looking at that one. Everyone keeps telling us we're idiots for not going to the Affiliate World ones, so we're going to give one a go next year, and Barcelona will probably be the one.
Yeah. No, pretty much for conferences for me, it's like I'm probably going to be more focused on ones where it's just more affiliate marketing rather than mainstream marketing. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I pretty much know the people I need to talk to either on the operator side or the affiliate side. And aside from that, my other problem is that there's just, you look at a calendar for conferences and it's like you could easily just be flying all the time. So it's like you got to find a balance of, you know, trying to get work.
Yeah, we try and pick about 5 a year. Like 3 in the US and 2 in Europe. I'd imagine we'll do 2 in mainland Europe next year, just because Brighton SEO, it's easy for us to handle with the UK staff. It's kind of a bit of a waste having Garrett come to that one, so we'll probably do Barcelona. And then there's one, I think it's Slovenia, that's like right down on the coast. Probably do that one because it's pretty chill. But yeah, I definitely want to do Barcelona next year because everyone keeps telling me how stupid I am for not going. I've got to check it out at least once.
Yeah, it's a great city to visit, and I don't know, July is usually not an ideal time. It's a max tourist season, but I think most people would still enjoy it.
Yeah, I think if you book far enough in advance, you're going to be just hanging out with the guys at the conference anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So.
Yeah. Should we just get stuck into the news? Like, you know, usually we talk about site updates, but I think in the news.
Well, we could have John tell us about what's going on in the gambling site world. Like,
yeah, I suppose we've been rather ostracized.
Isolated.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we've been involved in the niche. So it'd be kind of cool to hear like what are people's challenges these days? What are people up to? What's in the space?
Yeah, I think a couple things wouldn't be too surprising. Is that the mergers and acquisitions are happening at an insane rate right now. It's like I keep running into people that have sold their sites, and you know it's always for a million. So it's I think there's a lot of people that are kind of looking at that going, it's ideal. But on the flip side, the market's getting so competitive that you know, I'm running into a lot of affiliates that are just like struggling to stay, you know, just the float. You know, some of them that were making, you know, like 5, 6, 7 figures a month, you know, that income's just starting to drop. So you're not really just going to be sitting in the middle. You're either going extremely up or down, and there's no really in between space. So, I mean, if you're on the downtrend, it's not really ideal for trying to sell, but I mean, that's just happening.
You might just have to do it. Yeah. I mean, the one thing we've noticed is it used to be we got like Viagra, gambling, any of that, payday loans, any of that kind of stuff, we got loads of business from. But it seems like in the gambling space, there's this delusional price model in their head where they can still get really high quality gambling links for a price that's now the mainstream price for people with normal sites. Not that gambling sites aren't normal, but they're clearly, if you're doing paid links, which is what most gambling links are, I mean, we will do unpaid links in gambling if you're prepared to have some fun with content. And I'm sure John's done some cool campaigns on his own stuff.
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Kidding.
Paid links then. So yeah, and obviously the gambling space is mostly paid links. Webmasters have kind of figured out that they can at least add $50, and most of them have realized really, you know, $100 to $200 is a fair addition to torching their site. So yet they still give you like, oh, I want DA 40 plus at less than $185 a link, and you're like, well, Fat Joe sells, and we know what their links are like. They sell, check out the Authority Hacker review of Fat Joe's services if you want to see what their links are like. They charge $250 a link to normal people. It's like, well, so you're going to come to us who are one of the premium providers and you want cheaper than the shit providers for gambling links. It's like, well, I think if you weren't able to make money from the sites unless you could get really cheap paid links, you're going to really struggle now, because you've either got to learn to be a black hat, which is really hard. People that are black hats are generally pretty smart, or you've got to be able to pay more and make more margin and convert better. So I think a lot of people have had kind of an easy ride on the on the paid link side because no one in the white hat space was, well, not that it's ever white hat to buy them, but no one in mainstream niches was buying them. Now everyone's buying links again, especially in Europe. Like European guys are just fucking insane. They just buy. They've got no interest in doing PR or making content. European guys, it's just how many links can I buy? And now everyone's buying links. Webmasters are like, well, I'm not going to sell a gambling one for that price anymore. So we've definitely, that's what we've seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of regular sites that have nothing to do with gambling that are basically, you know, they'll say what the prices are, and as soon as they hear it's for a gambling site, they're like, oh, it's, you know, in some cases it's almost double. And then you look at their link, you know, who they're linking out to, and it's like, you know, more than half are starting to become like, you know, gambling, some Forex stuff.
I think, though, from Google's perspective, the Forex affiliates are less risky.
Yeah.
I think they're doing themselves less harm selling the Forex links because it's just like it's just price tracking, isn't it? You know, it's
well,
not.
that's what it's supposed to be, but then you've got connections
I know,
to binary
I
options, and that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Well, binary options, the main market for binary options affiliates has just been killed because the UK was the main market for binary options affiliates, and it just got made illegal unless you're a professional. So.
Yeah, and I think in Israel, where a lot of the companies were based, I think they've cracked down on a lot of it because they're basically saying, okay, this is giving us a bad reputation, and
Really?
so it's just, yeah, there's just a lot of articles that keep coming out. I think Times of Israel, their news, they're just basically going, okay, look at what's happening here, and you know, you're hearing lots of stories of people that, you know, have just lost a ton of money, and you know, worse stories from that. So it's just, there's no feel-good stories there. You know, I look at gambling as going, you have a chance to win. What's that?
There's no feel-good stories in binary options.
Yeah, because it's like binary options. It's like, I just look at it as like your money's being literally shredded. Like you're lucky if they even give it back to you. Whereas with
I had a friend who was really close to the industry, though, and there's certain people who are able to kill the binary options, and it angers them greatly that they have all these quants and like PhDs, and they're trying to set the price right, and they're just getting annihilated. So there's the occasional trader that can absolutely annihilate them, but it's really fine margins. It's like winning at blackjack from counting cards kind of margins. Like they're annihilating them over a year, but it's really, really tight margins. They have to have a bankroll that's
How do
hard.
binary options work? That's where it's like you either get nothing or
All right,
all of it?
so say the S&P's 5,500 today, and so they would do a binary option above or below, and you bet above or below, and you get a percentage on each. So say 60% above, 55% below, 45% below, rather, 35 even. So it adds up to less than 100. Jesus.
But when you win, they don't give you your money back at all.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a con.
Okay.
It's a con. But like you're guaranteed to lose 5% if it's a fair casino, and they've got the prices right. You'll lose 5% no matter what. But like John said, sometimes it's not a fair casino and things don't go to plan if you win big.
Interesting.
Hey guys,
Don't play binary. Hey Vin.
I was watching the Jungle Book. I'm sorry.
Did you get your train all repaired and ready to rock?
So we were just talking about this at the beginning of the show. You have re-engaged your 4-week punishment. So
You just have to get through all the icons you had for hacks for me, I think.
it's all right. I'll find something fun for you next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, they were showing the Jungle Book on the train, so I figured I'd finish it up before before jumping on the show.
But Ben got it.
Thank you.
There's a word?
The word of the day in red on there. I totally forgot to tell you about it or switch it or anything.
Okay.
Was that last week's word of the day too?
Mm-hmm.
How's it work? Not allowed to save, or you have to use it all the time, or?
First person that uses it wins nothing, but also wins.
Or if someone gets 3% keyword density.
Yeah.
The first couple of shows were kind of ridiculous. I think we had the the first one was a 55-gallon drum of baby oil, or I forget. They were pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. You really fucking stitched us up with that one.
Well, we better start blowing through the news, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's crack on.
Did you plug your talk yet, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I plugged the talk. I've written half of it, so we're halfway there.
Nice.
Black Movement, Mike.
Black.
Who was on the 24 Hours of SEO charity event. He had a post out a couple weeks ago now, I suppose, talking about bed and breakfast. And, you know, obviously bed and breakfasts are much smaller than even a small hotel. And just, I guess I don't necessarily want to say, like, just based off revenue, because I'm sure there's some really nice bed and breakfasts that you might spend $1,000 a night for or some silly stuff, but they really have like no representation. They kind of get stuck at the bottom, kind of like the runt dog of a litter that Mike's kind of equating this to. And there was a bed and breakfast owner that, you know, she has a Google My Business that apparently ranks well, and she gets a lot of traffic to it in the map pack. But when people want to book a room, she'd obviously like it to go directly to her site and book, and save her the apparently 15% commission that Expedia or whoever the hell is booking into.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has no option to try to save that money. And I would assume most bed and breakfast owners are not so much in the green. So, you know, 15% really takes a ding out of you. And
Has anyone worked in that space out of you guys? 'Cause we've done none of it. Because I would think for the featured results, if you had more links, then you would get the, because that's kind of how it works for lawyers. But and drug treatment as well. Like if you'll always get the aggregators they steal the featured snippet, they steal the fucking Wikipedia, whatever they call it.
Mike talked to someone, or read something from a guy named Tim Capper, saying you can contact all the travel sites and say, remove me, and then you can pay Google through their hotels API, and you have to bid to get your own link to show up.
So you're requesting to remove your own revenue just to get your...
Yeah, so it's like, at what point does all that effort versus the 15%, I don't know where it scales out. And then there was this...
Did Mike not work it out for us then?
Well, no, he's just kind of covering it.
No, he's just saying that they're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, because another point of view, if you remove yourself from all these travel sites, you're losing exposure that even though you're paying that 50% commission, as business you might have never gotten in the first place.
Well, where do you guys book your travel? I mean, we are like, for Garrett and I, we look on Hilton Honors first, and then we're Booking.com. Like, we'd never go to Google. So, Vin, where did you book your hotel?
I usually go direct.
Yeah, but how did you find the direct hotel?
Google.
Google.
Yeah, so you're Google. John?
Yeah. Not Google. It's like sometimes I use Trivago or Booking.com, but otherwise I tend to prefer Airbnb.
Okay.
So I kind of just usually.
So three out of four of us use a platform that isn't Google. So removing yourself from every other platform sounds really retarded.
Yeah.
Unless we're freaks, but I don't think we are. I mean, if something's easy to Google and Google gives the best result, I'm going to tend to use Google like everyone else. But
I've actually seen this in practice, and because out on Long Island, on the east end of the island, there's a town called Montauk. It's Montauk Point. You guys probably all heard of it. And it's just a town full of bed and breakfasts, full of tiny little motels, family-owned motels, and most of them are on these aggregators. But when you search for them on Google, aggregator sites pop up for them, but you're unable to book their bed and breakfast through the aggregator. So they're not getting any business through the aggregator, but the aggregator is still showing up in the widget. And most of these sites do have their own booking systems on their website, but their website isn't coming up as an option to book right through Google. So I definitely think there's various instances where this is definitely harming the business owner.
I think without any question, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're on the other sites, like losing the 15% because Google's returning a link to the other site.
Personally, I read the story. I just think that this is just something Google wasn't aware of. I think it'll be brought to their attention, and eventually they'll make a fix. I think.
I agree with that actually, because I don't think there's any financial benefit to Google for giving Booking.com, for example, or Trivago 15% on someone's bookings for no reason.
Right.
There's no benefit to them.
It's just a function of adding a feature in Google My Business to choose what you want to display as a business owner. But for now, I would suggest staying on the aggregators and keeping that revenue, because obviously that's part of your business. And just
because obviously only Vin doesn't use them. So
yeah, I search on Google, I see the listings, and then I go directly to the site to book it direct. I don't know, I'm just weird like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but this would definitely piss me off if I was a B&B owner right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
How much does Airbnb charge? Is it a percentage or?
It's a percentage. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, I think they throw in a bunch of fees there, like maybe some admin or cleaning fees or things that help people renting out their space.
John, do you find when you go to an Airbnb that the property is much less clean than it is in the pictures?
My experience has almost been always like I tend to only go to places where the owner has a history and you can see like a lot of star ratings. So it's like I don't want to go to someone that's never done this before and they're scattered or whatever. I've only had probably one experience where I'm like, okay, this was totally misrepresented of what they had in their listing. So it's like I filed a complaint and that person sent a nasty review back in return, but I'm like, I don't care. It's like,
Yeah, you were honest and transparent, so.
Yeah, and he said I only made a complaint just to get a refund. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
You really wanted that $100 back.
Yeah. Well, I ended up getting 50% back. So, but the place was just terrible. It was, I forget what it was, but it said something like, all the pictures made it look like I was getting this big place. And of course, I'm doing this for a conference in Malta. And as soon as I get there, it's just basically a single room. And it's like, this place says it sleeps 5. And it's like, I'm like, okay, there's a chair, which sort of pulls out into like a single couch. There's a queen bed. And this is where it gets ridiculous. There's a pull-out couch in a shared living room. And he's got another cot that you could just pull out from, this utility space. And the whole thing was just like totally shared like place where you would never know that. So it's just kind of like, I'm like, all right, this is not on. So
well, my office can sleep 20 if everyone's prepared to just lie on the floor.
There you go.
Pretty much the same thing. It got to the point where it's like I had to do the conference first. I had another week there. So after, it's like I rented another Airbnb and I was like, okay, let me get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't expect that normally. So it's like, at least I'm leaving the feedback so other people can be like, all right, don't go to this place.
I've only used it maybe 5-6 times, but usually they take really nice pictures of like the common furniture, like the couches and the kitchen table and everything. And you get there and it's much less, for me at least in New York, it's been pretty dingy and like.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it's exactly the same as Ben's.
I've been like pretty hesitant about sitting in like an armchair or the couch just because I'm scared that there might be like something in it that might get me. I don't know. But maybe it's just my location. New York is not the cleanliest of.
I don't know. I mean, you stay in a nice hotel in New York. You're only going to be paying like an extra little bit.
Yeah.
Like you stay there for a week, you're talking about an extra $300 or something, and it's like Vin's scared to sit in his chair in an Airbnb. So I mean, my take's been the same. You can get really lucky on an Airbnb and get an amazing place. especially if you're in a big group and you get like an 8-bedroom, everyone's got a bathroom. We got really lucky down in Cornwall on one recently, but most of the time you're unlucky rather than lucky. Whereas a hotel chain or whatever, if you have a bad experience at one, they know that reflects on all of their chain.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas
at least with
Airbnb,
yeah,
go
at
on,
least
John.
with at least with hotels, you know what you're getting. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, from a practical point of view, I mean, I could admit that, you know, I probably spent more than enough time looking at places, but for me, the trade-off is like, you know, I like cooking, and it's like I don't want to be confined to a hotel where it's like, okay, I'm now forced to be constantly eating out, as opposed to feeling weird about going, okay, I don't always want to eat their continental breakfast, and
I
you
think
know, I want to make sure.
I think this October is the first time Garrett and I have stayed in Vegas where we haven't had a kitchen or a room. So we'll see how we don't like that or whatever. But it was that they just had such an insanely cheap deal on Hilton Honors at the where are we staying again? I forget the name of
The Embassy Suites. You
Embassy
guys were
Suites.
saying,
Yeah. We're staying at the Embassy Suites just because Hilton Honors had their summer sale and it was so cheap. We normally stay at the Grand Vacations or Trump Towers or one of the ones where it's off strip, so it's a little bit cheaper, which is important if you're traveling a lot.
But usually Vegas, you always get, in my opinion, is good value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's
Vegas,
like, you know that the money's
Yeah.
kind of offset by people going to gamble, so it's, you know, you're getting
Yeah.
that 5-star, and it's not going to really cost you much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we tend to stay away from the real 5 stars like the Vidaras and the Venetian and all that kind of stuff, just because why are you going to pay $500 a night when you can have a better room at Trump or a better room at Hilton Grand Vacations for $200 or less?
Right.
And if you want a kitchen and a separate bedroom, you're looking at $800 a night or more at like some of those places. It's like, well, I mean, if I was in New York or Chicago, then where there's no choice, yeah, okay. But in Vegas, like John was saying, you expect to get a good deal. So I'd rather stay $3 Uber further away and save $700 on the hotel.
Yeah, I think as well, like,
had a kitchen, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on with the kitchen this time.
yeah, going back to Vegas, it's like I know Las Vegas has been losing revenue year after year, so it's like as long as that keeps happening, it's like they're not really
They're
going to lose.
up this year for the first year.
They're not going to lose their status as a, you know, tourist destination. Like, that's going to be always the way it is. But I mean, they're going to definitely, you know, try to overcompensate it and go, okay, we need to create more hotel deals and, you know, just better offers. Like, they were already very good to begin with, but I've been noticing the last 10 years that it's just been getting better.
Yeah, definitely.
It's turned into such a. It's a more traditional tourist destination now. Like, gambling revenue is so far down. It's like everywhere you go, it's all about the restaurants. It's all about your stay experience. Yeah. It's not so much gambling anymore. It's just totally different.
I was just there for the first time a couple months back, and that's exactly what I saw. You know, I played blackjack, and you know, there was barely anybody playing at Caesars, and the people that were playing were just raw beginners, just trying to figure it out and give it a shot on their way to dinner, probably. So, anyway, SEO by the Sea. I read this one.
Yeah, Bill Slosky put out a nice article going over how Google has updated one of their patents on augmentation, and you know, kind of a lot to take in. You know, obviously you can't take anything concrete away from the patent, but it gives
from what I understand is that they're reverse engineering what keywords a page ranks for, and then we'll apply those keywords, I guess, to the main topic keyword of the page and call it an augmented keyword. Is that the idea?
Well, it's looking at more than that. It's also, or like, I guess more fundamentally, it's looking at like, so they're also starting to qualify the search, which is part of the patent. So it's like, let's say you and I are looking for the same pair of shoes, which is going to tie into what you just said, but you and I might have very different ways of finding
Right.
these pairs of shoes. And yeah, so yeah, it does circle back to what you just said. Like, I might be using totally different search criteria because I'm calling the pair of shoes like something stupid, like I don't know, like trainers. They call that in
Yeah.
England. It's not stupid. It's just a different word or something. Where you might be just searching like tennis shoes. I don't know.
What do you guys search for trainers? Like, do you call them sneakers or what? Sports shoes?
Americans call them sneakers. Yeah.
Sneakers.
Shoes.
And,
Yeah.
shoes.
There you go.
Well, you all just wear shoes. Shoes here is like proper shoes, not trainers or
Right.
sneakers. Like,
So-
I think everyone here would know what you meant. If you said sneakers, it would be unusual for you to say it if you're an English person, but we'd know what you meant.
In Minnesota, you just say shoes, or you might.
So,
say
what would you say? What would you say for dress shoes then?
shoes.
Dress shoes.
Like proper shoes. So everything's just shoes, no matter what type of shoe it is. If it's like a tennis shoe or a fucking leather, like proper work shoe, it's a shoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe dress shoe if you're really fancy.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Where,
dress shoes
my-
and shoes.
my wife would probably be laughing at us right now. We're just computer guys, but you know.
Yeah, what do we know? What's your wife call your shoes then? Like lame.
Lame, exactly, lame. But what puzzled me about this is, okay, so if they identify a secondary keyword or an augmented keyword that lots of people use to search and land on this page, and then rank that page for the target keyword, even if it's not optimized for it, that there's like some gaps there, like. Why is the page originally showing up for the augmented keyword if it's not optimized for it? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think the key thing with Google Patents is they're looking to improve things that they already do. It's not like a black and white replacement. So if they got something that was confusing, like sneakers versus trainers or something, or like just shoes. For the Americans, apparently, where you can't differentiate between different types of shoe, they're not going to read too much into it when Garrett types in cheap shoes. They're going to have to show him different options. But if they're in a demographic where they can use that information better, and so someone in the UK who typed in cheap shoes, what I want is cheap dress shoes, basically. I don't want cheap trainers. So I think I think Google's smart enough to use it usefully in different regions, but it's going to be like a 2% kind of thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
all of these plans they release, it's like it's interesting to know that they're looking into that kind of stuff, but it's 2% swing.
Sure.
It's not like they switch it on and suddenly no one ranks for shoes anymore in Minnesota.
Could
That's
happen.
what's up.
Makes sense. It'll be interesting to see how they roll it out.
It could. If that happens, I will. Well, I'm not going to say I'm going to eat a shoe. I will fail to eat a shoe, so I won't eat a shoe.
Well, speaking of updates,
Yeah, so apparently Google actually did make a statement yesterday or early this morning or something that there was some sort of core algorithm update. As always, and someone made a prod at me a few weeks ago on one of those Facebook groups that you can't say you've never had a negative traffic thing after an update. Because, we always talk every week there's some sort of update going on, which is...
It's every 5. It's every 5 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's real time. Everything is in real time. But there actually was, Google says, some sort of core update. And seems like a lot of people got nailed, and I was reading into who Barry was talking about. And I looked through a lot of the old algorithm stuff that Barry covers. And it's always people from Black Hat World that he seems to be pulling out complaints from, getting they're losing traffic. And then you start to wonder about, this isn't against people that use Black Hat techniques properly. It's the quality of skill of the people that are coming out of these Black Hat World threads and are probably buying really cheap 100 SEO SAM links for $10
Well, there's this thing where you can hack the links onto sites. I think it's called niche something. I don't know. Oh, is that what it's called? You can hack your link onto a site somehow.
But I don't even think I'm not. I think, like,
that to me is the only way to do it. It's like, buying those cheap links. It's like, what good is that going to do? It's what I'm seeing is people buying those cheap links to target on other sites, and hacked links as being just really effective. Unfortunately,
it is actually still working. I mean, in all seriousness aside, hacking your link onto other people's sites is still working.
Am I loud or not?
I definitely see people succeeding with it. The reason I wouldn't do it is because, well, if it's your own site and you're prepared to be sued for, if you're an American, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you live in America and you're prepared to go through the potential, because the minimum sentence for computer misuse is pretty abusive in America. It's an obnoxiously long sentence you can get for hacking links from a site. So if you're an American and you're prepared to just roll with the risk so that you can make a couple of $1,000s a month, by all means.
It's the riskiest place to do it, probably.
Yeah, like why would you? Yeah, I mean, but if you live in like I don't know. Iran or something, I don't know, like somewhere where you're never going to get extradited to the US in a million years, then of course you want to fucking buy as many fucking hack links as you can, because you're never getting extradited to where the only place in the world where anyone cares. But, and it does work now, but look at the sites that, I mean, Vin was a very smart boy. I mean, he sold the only site he did dodgy stuff on before it went down. But me and Garrett, we had our sites that were doing really well, buying the dodgy shit. Couple of packs of Sherlock does Google.
Actually, I was just talking about.
Don't you defend yourself on air? You just be quiet.
No, the site is still ranking #1.
Oh, it's ranking well.
Insane. But actually, the only time I ever got nailed by.
I'm just teasing you because you sold it so soon. Like you could have held that bad boy for another 3 years and sold it for like $3 million.
I'm pretty sure that they doubled monthly revenue. But
yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely sure that they haven't been fucked. But what I mean is, like, I'm just teasing you because.
But I was gonna say that the very first, the only time I've been nailed by a algorithm update was Penguin 2.0, and that was because I was using the ALN network, Authority Link Network, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I remember.
That was back. That was 2013.
So I think that's the basic thing I'm kind of thinking. Like when people have showed me niche edits, it's like a site that just has tons of obvious hacked links on it, and you think how Matt Cutts caught the PBN networks and stuff like that. If people were doing it well and they were selling like one per site and they were never abusing that site again, you've got the best link in the world because it's like there and no one's ever going to find it. The problem is, except for the fact that you could go to jail when you get caught, of course. But, you're the kind of person who's buying this bullshit product, so, you already know that. But the thing is, they don't do that. They're like, oh, I've got 80 customers. I better sell like 74 on this site because I haven't got enough fucking sites that I've hacked yet. And it's going to be super obvious to Google at some point. So it's like a short-term gain, long-term pain kind of situation. The same as with the shit PBNs. Like we've spoken about on the show before. Like if you build a really good PBN, it's almost indistinguishable from a media network. Like such amazing articles. You have all this amazing shit on your sites. Because I know a guy who does it in the health space. And he's got sites that rank for loads of fucking health keywords. People searching for, like, I don't know, like,
you know what,
you know what I mean, though, like,
it on Skype, that would probably,
these people, that like, they've got these networks that they've gone to the effort of building
you guys hear me?
World of. I don't know, I've been hearing you loud and clear the whole time.
Well, yeah,
we're having two different conversations right now, I think.
Sorry, well, Sam was saying I was quiet on YouTube.
I think you're okay now.
Yeah, well, somehow it was muted on Skype. So it should have been loud and clear on YouTube, and then you guys shouldn't have been able to hear me. But
Oh, we've all got the NSA channel set up on our Skype, so we get the extra information.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just have to tick the send this information to the NSA box, and then you can hear you even when you're muted.
Oh, we got another watcher saying last 2 streams and this one, so the last 3 episodes, 0 to a little bit sound for Gary.
Oh, Jesus, Garrett.
Got to start all over again.
Yeah.
Subtitle saved me.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Is it still quiet right now, or what?
I think we're gonna have to make our way through this episode, and we'll figure it out after.
I'm just gonna.
Or you could talk real loud, like.
Turn up your volume to like 150% on your Skype thing.
I already had.
Yeah. Okay.
It was that day that my air conditioner was running,
Oh, it's the air.
and I put it on my headset microphone, but it should work. But I just put it back on.
Whatever you just did, they're saying better.
I put it back on the microphone for the webcam, so it must be this nice.
So your headset's no good, basically. It looks
well,
cool.
yeah, it was a nice $15 headset.
Glowing blue shit, but it's no good.
You should have read a review website before buying that headset.
What's that?
You should have read one of the review websites before buying that headset.
Yeah, Vin's got a headset review site. It's called vinsheadsetreviews.com. Jump on.
Garrett usually despises those review websites.
Usually, because no one actually reviews it.
Not your Vin, because your team would have told him. Glowing blue, no good.
But getting back to the algo update, what I was going to say is with PBNs, if you're a good boy and you're quiet about it, and you build your PBN from scratch on your own, and you're not buying from other people, and you're doing proper testing, that shit's going to work, and it's going to work for a really long time, and nobody's going to.
How many people do you see do that these days, though?
In the gambling space now, how many of you guys use PBN links extensively still?
It's starting to change. I mean, obviously, people are wanting to get links from outside of gambling or things that kind of have some sort of connection to it, that are like a very strong news site, for example. But what I've already noticed in the, just to apply, like, we don't really use the term PBN, but it's private blog network. Any
controlled site linking.
There's a lot of affiliates where they obviously have a lot of their own smaller sites that kind of either support what they do or they use it for bartering or trading. And the thing that I've noticed that's changed in a short period of time is that the people that are serious or have a lot of money that are getting bigger, they're trading those networks very seriously. So they're not just making a blog for the sake of doing it because they can build links onto that and then use that for whatever. They're actually trying to make that such that it's 100% legit, like as if that blog could stand on its own. So it might be very specific for a niche, but it has a purpose. And they take it a step further. So it's not like we're just going to throw up a basic WordPress design. It's actually going to be properly designed. And if there's going to be a need for a bit of custom programming and a database, then that'll be put in there. But even if you take that back...
It's kind of like what I was saying earlier in the finance space, where it's virtually like a finance news site that they're prepared to build. They're going super hardcore with it now in gambling as well.
Yeah, it's not junk where you're just going to search, you'll get the link, and you'll think, what is this crap site? No, you're actually going to go there, and you're going to think it's a legit site that stands on its own. You just might not realize that it's part of this network, and they're not abusing it to the highest level. Like, I think everyone's kind of figured out what they can and can't do, but what I've seen is people learn very fast. Like, they're more focused on the content market, the content side of things. So there's no more of this 500-word articles. It's like 2,000 plus, and they're just like they're investing a lot into these smaller networks, and they're making it work for them.
I agree. I've seen recently a network that was comprised of what looked like local business websites, wiki websites, blogs, and I know for a fact that the owners were, they're feeding every site on the network, over 100 sites, with like an article a week, and they're they're just maintaining 100 websites just so they can get the links for them to actually feed their money site. So if you would look at any one of the sites, it wouldn't look like a typical 5-page
no, exactly.
PBN where all the 5 pages are on the home page.
Yeah.
It's indistinguishable. And if you link out externally correctly, it's very hard to detect, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I've always said to people. Like, the whole internet's your PBN if you can pitch.
Right.
If you can tell a story, the whole internet's your PBN. But if you can't, you have to actually be smarter than me.
Yeah.
Because you have to do that shit that Ben just talks about. That sounds pretty fucking difficult compared to what I do.
In my opinion, that's really what the really good black hat guys are doing. Guys you don't really care about, the guys that are under the radar. They're just building these networks of real websites to push their one money site, and they're making Uber money. Uber.
Well, I mean, a lot of the guys who you haven't heard of are doing $1 million plus a year, so
Yeah.
it's not right to belittle them.
I wasn't.
The problem is, of course, that the average person who thinks they can just spam Google is making nothing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more average persons than there are geniuses who are manipulating it correctly. So it's tough to know.
Well, speaking of link building, I think you put up an article from Majestic, right? Or has that been?
I don't use Majestic, so that was...
It might be me.
How to find local backlinks and citation opportunities using Majestic.
Oh, yeah. Well, I put this one up because, hold on, let me just load it up. There was kind of it kind of annoyed me that it started off really good. So this Majestic article, it's stuff that Garrett's like a fucking genius at. Like, it's all the things he does. He's the citation kind of guru at our business, and they're giving people some really good tips on how you find where your competitors have citations, how you get them, and then the last bit at the bottom. Just fucking scroll down to this. It's the most stupid fucking donkey shit I've ever seen in my life. So it starts off with a headline which is like, I've been told by my boss I need to write an extra 200 words, so I better fucking write them, eh? And now it's time to power this up. I mean, Jesus fucking.
Well, this is actually a guest post done by our buddy Hernan. Hernan. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but he's actually a Builder Society member, and he is a client awarded.
God have mercy on his soul, then. Fucking.
Semantic Mastery, man. They actually put out some good services, but they're like.
Why is this a piece of shit then? I mean, let's like how do he goes through like so all right. What do you think you're gonna get from this article when you see the title? Some local link building tips, right? Not like, oh, build some citation, and then I'll tell you some retarded fucking Mongol shit once I finish the citations. Like, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, this is one of the worst articles I've ever read in my life.
Yeah,
because it was just, here's how you sort your citations out, and they deleted the last paragraph. I'd be like, I wouldn't have read it.
You should add a comment into the post.
Yeah, I should probably.
They're not mean enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
this is also one of the reasons I don't.
Yeah, and like, do you know what makes it even worse? Is it's like, this is how long it is. The last bit. It's a few fucking paragraphs of retarded things that you probably shouldn't do. Like, after a good article, why waste it? Just, if you've got nothing else to say, just wrap things up and say, some people who know what the fuck they're doing about link building will probably give you some extra information. Because we
I just read a couple of the points.
You guys watching this know, like, yeah, like, I mean, you guys know we're not, like, against bigging up our competitors. Like, Garrett French, he talked a lot about local SEO a few episodes ago. We shared his article, and we gave him a massive thumbs up. This is retarded. This is just straight up retarded, and that's why I included it, because it's an embarrassment to own. It's published somewhere.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say about it. Was I was embarrassed to read this for the.
I was basically going to say this is why I don't use, one of the reasons I don't use Majestic, because they publish hype pieces to push other services.
It's embarrassing. I'd say it's just embarrassing for everyone.
Although
it's embarrassing for Majestic, it's embarrassing for the author. All they had to do, though, to avoid the embarrassment, was different title and stop 4 paragraphs of fucking retarded bullshit earlier. And then
I've got to say,
imagine if the title was "How to Get Some Your Local Citations in Order," and they stopped before they got into that bullshit. You just looked at it and been like, "Oh yeah, that's a pretty decent article. It tells you how to get your local citations in order."
It's clickbait.
And yeah, there's nothing in it about local links. Like
I don't see anything.
There's nothing. Yeah. So I was. That's why I included it, and I think Garrett knew that's why I included it, because I put the note on there on the. Yeah.
Is the malvertising piece yours also? Steven?
Checkpoint.com.
I thought this one was quite interesting. Did any of you read it or not?
Yeah, I read it.
I thought this one was kind of interesting, just because we talked a few weeks ago about some of the spurious techniques people are using in like the online advertising space. I thought this was kind of like a really good like A to B strategy guide for those of you who wanted to take the things that we thought were a really bad idea and step it up a notch to make some money for yourselves. But it was just a throwaway bit of information for you guys. If no one else has any deeper opinions, I just kind of threw it in because
I didn't have time to read this one.
This kind of hacking shit is kind of beyond me, but basically somebody was injecting a JavaScript piece of malware into a publisher network to basically rape advertisers of ad money and also install malware on thousands of boxes at the same time. So more of a hacking piece, pretty scary.
It was just a follow-on from my last one. We spoke about it before.
I think the lesson here is always update your WordPress installs, even if you have old WordPress sites. Go, make sure you're updating them regularly. I think now they automatically update your installs for you. But this was an exploit solely because sites weren't updated.
Yeah, I think that's all there is to it. Like, just keep your shit updated and you won't come into this kind of thing. The only reason I shared it was because we'd spoken about it like 3 weeks ago or whatever. It was just like the same story again. It's like, how many times do you guys need to read the same story before you get your WordPress updated? I mean, it's kind of interesting. I guess the only thing I've got to say on it is I thought it was interesting how when it's an online advertising related issue, like if it was a Joomla related issue or a WordPress related issue or something that was more pure hacking, like I thought it was interesting that just because it was an advertising related issue, it kind of people were less angry about it. I don't know if that's a sensible point or not, but.
All right. Well, this Amazon piece, was this yours or was this Garrett?
It was Steve, but so basically someone.
It was me.
Yeah,
I know this one.
Someone was getting pissed that I'm sure they had a small online store, and they were probably ranking for whatever niche item they had, and all of a sudden they put it on Amazon, and obviously Amazon has a lot of authority, and they got outranked for it, and John Mueller was just like, what do you expect? You know, like I don't know. Yeah, your website.
Well, I mean, we know from Rand's comment just a few days ago that John Mueller's a racist. So
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
I mean, so you're just gonna back a racist in his opinion without questioning him.
Well, I think it's
John looks really confused. Did you not see any of that on Twitter or anything?
What, racist?
The John Mueller, Rand Fishkin racist accusation.
Steve is joking because Rand Fishkin went off the rails and started.
Yeah. Like, so basically, what happened was John Mueller was like being a real dick to one of the black presenters at MozCon, and I on the show, for the first time ever, I've defended Rand, which is embarrassing. I'm still embarrassed now. But embarrassingly, I defended Rand Fishkin. I said, honest to fucking God, he's involved in this conference. He's just fucking sticking up for them. And like literally 15 minutes after we hung up, Rand Fishkin goes, "Oh, that John Mueller guy's a fucking racist." I was like, "Oh fuck!" The one fucking time I defend a guy I hate more than anyone else in this fucking industry, I get embarrassed like that. So yeah,
I don't think I heard about the story at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, so basically, John Mueller, like, I forget the guy's name at iPool Rank, but I mean, to accuse John Mueller of being racist about it was just ridiculous. That the guy published a load of like really obnoxious slides about him, John Mueller, being an idiot and getting everything wrong all the time.
I saw that.
It's fair enough. I mean, you know, if you want to rip on the guy. John Mueller, like, fucking said, "Well, is this what you guys are all about at fucking Moz?"
Yeah, he overreacted, in my opinion.
He absolutely overreacted. Which is why I defended Rand for the. But then Rand he can't just take being right as being good enough. Everyone's agreeing with him. He's like, "Oh fuck, everyone's agreeing with me. I need to like really fucking say something insane." So he said, "Why haven't you called me a retard? Is it just 'cause I'm white?" I just went downhill from there. It was just like, Rand, seriously, for fuck's sake. Literally everyone in the industry, including those of us who are clearly like a weird burned kind of pink color like me, we were all on your side. Even those of us who can't take the fucking sun, we're on your side. And then out of the blue, you just...
Yeah, anyways, speaking of Google stuff, there's a new site up about Matt Cutts.
I'm not finished with Rand. I tweeted at you, and you as your wife swear at me instead of you fucking having the balls to reply. What are you, some kind of fucking piece of shit? Like, seriously... I have never come across anyone as a pathetic, whiny, useless, bitch, piece of crap as you. And then I asked you...
Okay, all right.
I'm not finished. I asked you a really fucking specific question, and all you had to do is give me a well-thought-out answer. Instead, you as your wife swear at me.
I didn't see that, Steve.
That's really sorted me out. Thanks, buddy. I'm done now.
All right. So there's a new site up at mattcutts.org. I didn't quite understand if someone just put this up or if Matt certainly didn't put this up, right?
Someone just put this up.
Yeah. Are these actual real tweets? Or are they...
Nothing on this site's real.
Oh. Well, I wasn't sure because you can actually like click to Twitter, and I mean these are real people on Twitter supposedly, and
I guess some of them might be real. I haven't clicked all of them.
I know some of them are obviously satirical, but maybe I didn't look as closely as I should have. But
I didn't really know what to make of this site at all, so I kind of just skipped over it.
Well, we on sparktoro.org.
Matt Cutts is out of sight, out of mind. Sparktoro.net.
.net.
Yeah, sparktoro.net, yeah. Story licensing, what's that? Can we skip that one tonight?
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell that was.
Oh no, this one was like super simple. It's so basically there's this site that was encouraging people to contribute their guest posts and stories and stuff like that to it. And then they decided that it would be a really good idea if they would sell the rights to those. And the reason I included it was because we had a client who's really worried about syndicated content. I wanted to talk with you guys what you guys feel about syndicated content right now. So ignore the kind of general story. I mean, who gives a fuck about these people and their like $3 articles getting $2? If you write something really good and it gets published somewhere and it gets syndicated, what's your guys' view on it now? Is that something that you should aspire to, or is that just a waste of time now?
So doesn't it mean it's also probably getting more traffic?
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely getting more traffic, yeah.
I think it matters what the goal is, as usual. I don't think syndicated traffic, and I think that's been proven that it's not going to help with rankings at all. So if you're auto-syndicating to multiple properties, the links back to the original source.
Oh, this is definitely not an auto-syndicating scheme.
I think it's more for well-trafficked editorial sites and news sites that already have a bunch of readers and just need a diversification of the content they have on site. I think for those kind of sites, I think it's a great idea. For smaller affiliates and smaller topical websites and hubs like that, I don't know how much of a benefit it's going to have in both traffic and SEO.
So you would recommend not worrying about it at all, right?
I mean, like, all right. I mean, if I have XYZ camping site, .com, do I want to have syndicated content about camping topics and pay $100?
Well, I don't think you have to worry about whether you paid. Would you consider targeting, like, say you got a post somewhere where, I don't want to give away the obvious places because that's kind of like what we do for a living, but there's a site that is 1 in 10 articles they publish get syndicated somewhere, like it's DA90. You wouldn't target them anymore or not?
Target them for what?
Well, because if you get your guest post on there, there's a 1 in 10 chance you get syndicated to on a DA90 site.
If I'm the writer, I think syndication's great because it's more. I'm talking about from a publisher standpoint. I don't know how much of a benefit, especially for the type of sites I build. But as a writer, of course, I want my content syndicated everywhere because that's just more exposure and more traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Yep. But this next one is a piece that I like because it brings Mr. Neil Patel back to the limelight here.
Yeah.
He's come out with an email a couple days ago, and he says that he's putting out a free tool that's going to rival SEMrush, and it's going to be better than SEMrush for free.
So has he said how he plans to make money off of it yet?
Well, it's the same way when he bought Uber Suggests. He's going to make money from it by.
That's what he's talking about. Uber Suggest.
Yeah.
Well, it is Uber Suggest. That's what it is. It's already on neilpatel.com.
He's not bringing in. It's nothing new at all.
So he got.
What's funny about the tweet is people are just calling him out for. Can you do anything original?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This particular tweet that we shared in the video notes from Jerry White is pretty much just calling out Neil Patel for plagiarizing and not doing anything original, and the comments kind of go into why he's not a good SEO and why he shouldn't be trusted and why he's full of crap, basically. But
I will say, one thing I will say is definitely so search leads. They got Jerry along, and he's one of the speakers, and they took him to one of the cheapest bars in Leeds and gave him a burger for his speaker's dinner. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna invite people along to speak at your conference, I mean, if it's actually someone famous, you should probably give them something better than that.
Maybe he likes burgers.
Maybe he does. He didn't seem massively impressed when I teased him about the fact that he was going to that speakers dinner before. But anyway.
Well, I got a quick question. It's like I've heard about this tool that he's been working on, but is this tool actually something of use, or is he just copying what other tools that already?
Okay, so Uber Suggest was originally it was.
Well, no. This tool is a keyword research tool, so it's it's supposed to be.
Uber Suggest used to be really good. Then Neil bought it and turned it into a piece of shit.
Yeah, Uber Suggest was originally a Google Auto Suggest scraper, so you could basically generated long tails for you. Then Neil bought it and added search volume estimates, and now he's gotten his hands on some kind of index, so he can now analyze competitors for keywords.
This is supposed to be better than Uber Suggest. It doesn't appear to be when I played around with it. I mean, to say that it's
about it isn't out yet. It's going to be released.
Oh, okay. I played around with it.
Yeah, just the basic keyword tool has been out, but he emailed everybody on his list and said that he's got an index of over 300,000 keywords, and he's also going to rival BuzzSumo or be better than BuzzSumo because he's got data on 2.5 billion URLs.
The only thing I'll say is that SEM Rush have kind of become irrelevant to any of us that are serious SEOs now.
I don't know about that. I mean,
what do you still pay them for monthly subscriptions?
No.
Exactly. Of course you fucking don't, because they're irrelevant to us now as serious SEOs, which is my point. So unless you're paying them, don't disagree with me. None of us are paying for them anymore. Are you, John? Do you pay for SEM Rush anymore?
No, I only use Ahrefs and I use Quora now.
Did you use SEM Rush before?
No.
Like people did? No. Okay. Quite a few of us did. I mean, I know both Garrett and I had accounts.
For 3 months, yeah.
I had an account when you were 12.
Okay.
But like, I mean, SEM Rush used to be good, but Ahrefs now gives you more data. Like, there's no, I don't know. I just don't see any reason why I would pay for an SEM Rush account now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Neil thinks he's going to be better than them. So
let's skip over. We're dragging on tonight. We can talk about Don Draper next week, and
well, that's one of the more interesting pieces we've got to discuss.
Yeah, we can talk about it next week, though.
Why? Because he's dead?
Yeah.
well, I mean,
yeah, he's not going anywhere.
I think when a stranger decides to destroy your life. Did you guys get to read this one?
Yeah. Talk about it really quick.
Okay, so this nice real estate lady. Apparently, there was a viral picture of a little girl at Auschwitz in Germany, and she took a selfie and she was smiling, and they went viral because all the comments said, "Why are you smiling? That's such a horrible place. You should definitely not be smiling."
Why are you taking a selfie at Auschwitz?
Exactly, and this real estate lady was one of the commenters, and she goes, basically, leave the little girl alone. It's a nice picture. So one of the other commenters saw this and thought the nice real estate lady was a anti-Semite from this one comment, and went around to a bunch of different, I guess you would say revenge websites, and posted fake stories about how the real estate lady would sleep with potential
clients' husbands and all this kind of stuff,
like that. And all these awful stories were getting ranked on Google for her name, and she was losing business because of it. And it was all over, a stupid comment she made. It was like 2 years before the actual.
Well, I didn't even agree that it was a stupid comment. She made a comment that she thought was sensible.
Yeah.
One may or may not agree with it, but she was just like, leave the girl alone.
And a stranger,
which isn't outrageous. That's viewpoint to take
the
on.
point being is a complete stranger had the power to basically ruin her life, and the lady had to spend $100,000 to get the courts to force these revenge websites to take the fake stories down.
And we've all seen that in the reputation management space with, you know, like you get some fucking retard post one post, and because they posted it so long ago, it'll take, you know, 6 to 12 months before anything about that old post about your business, and all they've done is waffle on about some bullshit. And we all have known clients where they haven't even done business with this fucker. And this is like kind of times 10 because you can just do it. Like I could post about Garrett on here, and it would be there for like he would get rid of it. He would get rid of it.
I was thinking about that when I was reading the article.
And push it down, but like for 12 months there'd be some bullshit retarded fucking nonsense.
This article kind of struck me as bittersweet because it kind of does expose this practice, and I can imagine people who have nefarious ideas might take this idea and use it again for their own, you know, poor uses. But it's, you know, just a scary idea. It turns out that the person that was lying about the real estate lady is now in jail because after this whole debacle got cleared up, she ended up kidnapping somebody.
Oh, Jesus.
And she's now in jail. So,
well, there's a surprise.
Scary stuff. But I would say this is a great use for an ORM company, and kind of proves why they needed it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's the new swatting.
It is.
Yeah. I shared one here from another Patel here, and this article is called "Why You Need to Be Doing Secondary SEO." And I brought this up because a couple of weeks ago we talked about a Robert Richards article where he talked about barnacle SEO, which is basically just a practice of if you know that you can't outrank the pages currently ranking the top, you know, spots for the keyword you want, figure out a way to get yourself on those pages. And the practice is called either secondary SEO or barnacle SEO. In this particular article is a great step-by-step guide on how to do that. And it's basically just a variation of outreach link building, where, you know, instead of getting a link to boost your page up the website, you're actually trying to get your page linked on the top ranking pages for a keyword, because you know you're probably never going to outrank, or you're never going to obtain those spots yourself, just because of the sheer size of the sites currently ranking. So, a quick overview of the steps. Step 1, find URLs that are ranking well. Step 2, get listed on these URLs through influencer outreach. You can offer incentive to do so. And then step 3 is just once you have the links, you're going to optimize those URLs even further through more backlinks. So once you have your site listed on, you know, on these pages ranking the top 3 spots, you can go ahead and build more backlinks to those sites to solidify them permanently. I think it's a good idea.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And yeah, Sam just said in the comments he did speak about this kind of stuff, so I don't have the link handy, but if you YouTube search 24 hours of SEO Sam Romain, I'm sure you should find the segment. Otherwise, go to the 24hoursofseo.com and
On the barnacle SEO stuff?
well, just he was talking about rep management and doing stuff like this in rep management.
Cool. I'll find it and I'll share it.
That was a good segment, definitely. So get yourself registered. 24hoursofseo.com.
Shit, we're only about 5 months away from year 2.
Uh-oh.
Vin is gonna be the main host because he was such a pussy last year, pretending he was tired or some shit like that. He's gonna be on every single hour for 24 hours next year. Garrett's gonna sleep. We're actually gonna have a live feed of Garrett sleeping because he took such a fucking beasting because of Vin bitching out last time.
I'm just gonna buy a cardboard cutout of myself and I'm gonna put it right here in front of the camera and I'm just gonna.
No, you're not. Yeah, you're not gonna do any of those things. You're gonna be there, bitch.
Oh.
You need to be covering for Garrett. You're gonna be doing the whole 24 hours. Me and Garrett are just gonna dip in and out when we feel like being awake, like you did. We're gonna raise some serious money for charity, boy.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do some work for it this time.
Last piece of news here we can run through really quick. Google's saying that you should use date published and modified structured data on non-AMP articles because it might help you push through into the news carousel and stuff like that.
I think this is actually very relevant, and we've been talking about this with Joe on. How often should you update your post dates, or if it should be a modified date? And Google is now telling us that you should use structured data to tell us the original published date and the modified date via schema. And for right now, this is just for news content, but I think that if you're a smart SEO, you might take this and run with it for your affiliate sites. So maybe we'll start testing that out and start using the structured markup to see if that benefits ranking.
Cool. Yeah, so the main topic of the evening, last night, Steve and I were talking to a good friend of ours about why I wasn't pushing one of our lead gen sites in the UK over to HTTPS. I wasn't going to secure it. And I actually started doing it today, or it's done, but we started talking about why we use Let's Encrypt because it's free. Our hosting company just handles it for us, and I don't have to do anything, and it's awesome, other than the actual site work, moving everything over. But why, Google sponsors Let's Encrypt. Why isn't it something that they're spending or selling? Why aren't they selling SSL certificates and all that stuff? And our buddy said they are worried about losing ad revenue in the sense that if net neutrality goes hardcore, they can intercept the ad traffic and replace AdSense ads, the ISP can, with their own ads and sell them and just block Google out. But if you're running HTTPS or SSL, obviously it makes it much more difficult for an ISP to do that.
Well, it's basically impossible, right? If you're running an SSL.
Relatively. I mean, it'd be a lot of work that probably wouldn't be worth it, I would guess.
Yeah.
I think I've contacted these guys to ask them how much for a sponsored link from Let's Encrypt.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's at least 10 grand. If not more.
Wow. So you can actually buy a sponsored link.
Yeah, but it's just interesting.
That's awesome.
The way that it came
up.
The
irony is that the Chrome link is the only no follow.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm just.
Google didn't want to pay the 10 grand.
And they have one gambling link on there already, and I've noticed this before.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The whole thing, Google's big PR spin. Everyone needs to be secure. All of a sudden, everything needs to be secure, even though the internet works relatively well for the last 20 years, with a lot of sites not being secure. And Google's going to punish you if you're not secure in the form of, it's going to tell users that you're not secure and shit, which is an arbitrary amount of money you might lose, but.
So your reasoning is you're just not doing it because you don't think anything's going to happen?
Well, we just did it anyway.
Yeah, I did it today, but I wasn't going to do it because the lead gen forms load remotely via JavaScript. So when you go in to fill in the form on an unsecure form, Google Chrome pops up at you and says it's unsecure and all that shit, right? But our forms don't. So I didn't really think we'd be losing any money, and the hour time I was just lazy, so I wasn't going to do it. But our friend made a point that he's seen 3 to 5% in lost conversions just from up in the top left on your search bar where it says secure or not.
I was just going to say the same thing. It's people can easily stop trusting a site because of that. And I sometimes will judge a site if I see that. I'll just go, why do they not have this? Like, especially if they're a legit business that will take your money. I'm just kind of like...
So it was me being super lazy, just like, I can't be fucked doing this, which is stupid, right?
Even though it's one click with your host.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do all the SSL stuff, and then I just have to go in and change... the
images and shit like that.
Well, actually,
but
WordPress...
the images, do you not use... there's a couple plugins that will do one click, and it's all done for you.
Yeah. It took me like 10 minutes today. It wasn't even an hour.
Actually, I had Joe do it for me over the weekend.
The biggest reason I didn't want to do it was because about 5 years ago, we did an SSL migration for a client on a really big site, and things were not that smooth. And I just still had that ingrained in my head. 400-page site is going to take me 2 days versus...
Yeah.
So
that anxiety of the headache of dealing with...
So I guess the message is for everyone at home, just fucking do your SSL migration. It sounds simple.
Yeah, I mean, on all new websites, all new registrations, it's pretty easy. It's just as part of setting up your host. You can just set it up, but the migration's a bit more cumbersome, but these days it's pretty damn easy.
I mean, it's really not bad. Obviously, you stick to your...
as of last week, Google is now showing the non-secure to all Chrome users if you don't have it. So that could be a turn-off, as John said.
Yep. And you just stick the redirect in your htaccess file. If you don't know what that is, you can just copy-paste Google, if you're on WordPress migration to HTTPS. It's not bad. I mean, if you have a good hosting company, like we use KnownHost, I don't ask them to do that, but I'm sure they probably would. They do all this other stupid stuff that I ask them to do, and they do it for free. It's really not that bad, especially now. I think WordPress...
WPX will do it. It takes 2 seconds. I had Jared do it just because I don't trust anybody else. But
I tell you, the thing that really weirds me out about this whole thing is the KnownHost sent us an email about their HTTPS service, where you can buy your own certificate and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why would you bother unless you were Coca-Cola?
Well, a lot of people don't know. They just
paid them the money. Yeah.
Well, just imagine the average website person these days probably isn't really that tech savvy. They just have some hosting and they have a basic WordPress site up for their business, and I should be secure. And then you get an email from your hosting company for $120. We'll get this all sorted for you.
The easiest upsell. It's like free money.
And the business owner is obviously $120. I'm secure. I don't know how to do that. Might as well do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just wrapping things up quick, I finally had a review. I've been using the Social Warfare plugin on our skincare site, which I didn't talk about this before, right?
No, you didn't.
It's pretty cool. I started using it because we're trying to build our Pinterest following, which is going okay so far. I think, in 3 weeks we have, 3 or 4 weeks we have 1,000 average engaged users or something.
Are you tracking your clicks?
Not much is coming through to the site actually, which
same thing with me. We're getting thousands of views and followers or what have you.
Yeah.
But the engagement to the site is
so I guess my plan B is if the traffic doesn't link through to the site through all these fancy graphics we've made, once we have 30,000 followers, we'll start selling placements on the Pinterest account or something.
That's a good idea. Social Warfare actually just got its ass handed to them yesterday.
Oh, really?
Because there was a bunch of features and functions not working that were, primary features that people paid for the premium version for, and also I think something about it was not secure. I'm trying to find the correct word.
Yeah. I think I did read something about that because they pushed an update. So it's a good thing you mentioned it. Overall, like, I'm happy with some of the stuff it can do. Like, some of our posts, I don't want the special graphic that we put on Pinterest to be on the actual post. Or we want a different graphic for Facebook versus Pinterest, because Pinterest is obviously like a side scraper type image. Very thin and long versus Facebook, which is wide and not as tall. And when people are sharing links, Social Warfare just handles it automatically, which I'm sure you can just do on your own.
There's two really cool features that they offer, and I don't know if it's working or not. One is when you have it installed, any image on your site, when you hover over it, there'll be a pin me button.
Yep, yeah, that's nice.
Right there.
Yeah.
And the second feature, which I like the best, is that the same deal. You can scrape the entire image inventory of your site, and then you can pre-write the description that will appear on Pinterest if somebody pins it. So they don't have the option to write their own description. So you can insert your hashtags, you can insert your keywords, which works on the internal search algorithm on Pinterest, so you can rank higher for those pins. And that way, people, who might not be able to spell correctly, or might say something you don't want.
Oh, you forget your super important hashtags.
Hashtags on Pinterest work. They're a big part of
They
the
do.
the platform. But that's really why social workwear is so popular. I just think that the developers are getting some shit right now because they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. John, do you do much social stuff with what you have going on, or you just...
Not so much, and it's mostly because, just talking purely from the gambling ecospace, it's really, really difficult to get people to just kind of share those things naturally. Sure. It's almost like people are either searching for something, or they're joining a forum, or, it goes full circle. They're just looking for review sites to go, okay, I want this bonus or something. I kind of sometimes want to do more in that space with social, but everything I touch, I just kind of look at it as going from, and this is all from my point of view, there's just so many things I could be doing. Like, when I hear these, discussions about Pinterest, it's like, yeah, I'd like to do that for this site, but it's kind of like, I've got a million things to generate traffic, and it's like, I just need to kind of cut out a bunch of them and say, this one's not for me. Like, if I was doing anything in, like, fashion or beauty or health, I think Pinterest would be like a perfect synergy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the stuff I do outside of gambling is basically webmaster stuff. So it's kind of like, I know there's probably a slice in there somewhere, but I'd rather focus on other strategies, just kind of to say, okay, I need a link, or this site over here, or this network has all this traffic, so I'd rather work at a deal with them. And so it's everything I do in gambling is like, I still do SEO work, but all the stuff that I'm pivoting to is actually taking me a bit further away from the SEO game, which I'm kind of liking it. And
I don't blame you, man.
Maybe social media is actually probably going to be far more interesting than search for me. But I still look at it as going, I've got my marketing stuff here with like all the ways I'm going to generate traffic generation for my app. Social could be there, but I'm just wondering if it's going to be a total distraction. And then SEO it's almost at the bottom, but at the same time, I'm not going to disregard content marketing. But I'm looking at that more from a conversion point of view, rather than, it's definitely going to have its way to, like, rank for something and then get some traffic in, and I look at that as putting fishnets everywhere and seeing what can I catch.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
kind of like in the same spot with the skincare site as it's continuing to grow so much. Like, social's not something that we exactly have specialized in over the years, but it's like, it's definitely a good fit for a skincare site, I think, but I'm kind of into new territories about thinking about moving those people, like, let's say we just have 1,000 people a month on Pinterest. Just that small number obviously isn't a lot, but as that grows, I don't exactly know the best way to funnel them into the site, or if it's even worth funneling them into the site. I don't know. It's just
that's what we're doing. Me and my partner on my main site. I'm handling the technical SEO and the content, and basically, and Steve and Garrett are handling the links for us, and my partner is taking over social, and we're just going one platform to the next, and we're learning the inner workings and the quirks and how to target our demographic and how to drive clicks to the site that actually convert. So we're starting with Pinterest. We just started up with Facebook as well, but I think Pinterest is going to be a real winner just because of the niche we're in. But it's a whole new world. It's you pull some concepts from SEO and driving organic traffic, but it's you realize that the standard user is completely different than a Google searcher, and you got to appeal to them completely differently.
yeah.
But what do we got here? Who's the growth hack? Don't tweet this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a really simple. Don't tweet this. We've spoken about it a couple of times on the show, but it's around parasite pages and just like super easy ones to pick up. So for those of you who listen to us and grabbed the SERP stat, well, Vin was. I mean, Vin gets super credit for this because he got it like a year ahead of me and Garrett. Like they kept coming up with a deal on AppSumo.
Right. Yeah.
Where you can just grab it for $50, lifetime access. So if you haven't grabbed it by now, and you've watched the show since the beginning, like Vin fucking told you, we fucking told you, so it's your own fault. But yeah, basically you, so on SERPstat, you slap in that you want Quora.com. And you slap in your keywords in the additional keywords and filters, and then you find all of the fucking search results where Quora is on page 1. So go and answer the fucking question better than everyone else. And one of the big objections I saw on this in a forum thread was, well, yeah, but what if my answer's no good? Well, fucking don't make your answer better than the other ones. They've already done their shitty fucking answers. Go do the better fucking answer.
Oh.
Like, you know what the bar is. If you look at the answers that are there and you're like, oh, I can't do better than that, don't fucking bother. Go on to the next one and answer the one that you can beat. Like, you're not going to dominate like every keyword on Quora that's on page 1 for the things your site wants to rank for. But like Vin's dildo site, for example, which is his main money site, like, like if he's like, like what dildo is better for my anus, he's going to be able to answer that really well because there's not going to be a good answer about that on Quora. So you put it into SERPstat and you answer.
But then you end up finding his Thermos website.
I don't want to find any additional. I don't want to find any more additional information about Vin's sexual habits.
It sounds like you were just making.
I'm just ignoring you because I'm trying this out for myself right now.
You're googling about your dodo, aren't you?
Yeah, my dodo. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the key thing is like, don't waste your time on ones where you can't give what's clearly the best answer, or one that's been there since 2012 or something. Like, you're not going to jump into an 8-year-old answer, 6-year-old answer, or whatever. But
it's only good if that answer is still ranking. Like, it's still obviously not optimal. Like, that you're going to be further down.
That are ranking, and you're going to pick the ones that you can beat and get on and answer it better. Yeah. If you answer it shitter, you're still going to get no traffic because you're not going to, like, the better answer that was already there is going to stay there. So, but I just thought, like, it's a kind of tip for finding it. All of you should have SERPstat by now because we've told you twice.
Oh, we've mentioned it many a time on the show.
Yeah, we've mentioned SERPstat, the AppSumo deal where you just pay them $49 and you don't fucking have to pay them anything else again. Quite a few times. Bang in the search.
Yeah. So check out SERPstat. that's a wrap for this week. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be back next week, and don't forget to smash that like button. I think we had some record live viewers. We were up to 18 at some point. That's pretty good live. I think we
18, baby.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button for Sassy Steve over there. Email him all your stupid SEO questions. Share, subscribe.
I have touched enough stupid SEO questions lately. Come on, guys. Get on Twitter at SD Brownlee. Hit me up with some fucking retarded questions. We'll answer.
Oh,
okay.
Show. Yes.
Adios, guys.
Yeah, we will see you next week.